the month of September, which is a month of new and fresh, and the fall season is going to start this month, and it's a very welcomed new change for a lot of people. So we're so excited about what's gonna come, and we're so excited about what's happening at Empower Hour. So thank you so much for being with us today. And if you'd like to jump onto the Zoom call, you're welcome to do so. Go ahead and just check the link, and I'll go ahead and make sure that gets in there. Well, who we have as our speaker today is my dear friend, Pamela Chanel David, and she is a phenomenal speaker, world renowned, as well as an author in our newest book, as well as she has a book that is extremely well written called The Reinvented Life. She has a show called The Reinvented Life as well, and she is just very, very amazing. So please help me welcome Chanel David. Pamela Chanel David. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. What an honor to be here with Empower Hour. The women involved in this organization and what they're doing literally now around the world is incredible. And so I'm just so honored to be here, to talk to this group, to talk to anyone that is open at this very moment, as you mentioned, in this season to embrace change. That is the premise and the basis of the Reinvented Life. Now, I always like to start with a personal story of mine, my story of reinvention, my beginnings in this particular journey of my life started with a journey of health and wellness. I was in a dire health condition. I think it's very important that we are transparent about our stories. I was morbidly obese. I had extremely high blood sugars, high cholesterol, high blood pressure numbers. I was not in good shape at all. And I think the beginning of this journey of looking to how do I lose weight and how do I reduce the risks for my own health has completely come full circle, because what it is become is what I have gained. And that is really the universal message for everyone that's been involved with the Reinvented Life, that's adopting a Reinvented Life, is what do we gain? And how do we overcome adversities in our life and turn those really into purpose? And so I'm so honored to be here today and talk with everyone about this. This is the book, The Reinvented Life, and I'm actually going to start with a caption from it. It's a paragraph or so, and read this because it is, I believe, the essence. It's towards the middle of the book, and it's called Justice for All. Justice for All is about creating a more mindful world, and it is at the center of reinvention. At the center of reinvention is the need to start with a decision to treat yourself in new ways. Personal justice is at the core of social justice. And I think that topic today is so important because when we show up as our strongest self, when we show up as strong physically as we can, as strong emotionally as we can, as strong mentally as we can, even spiritually as we can become a stronger link in our families, in our communities, and in the greater world at large. So personal justice is really at the core of social justice. It's important to reflect on the community, on the group of who you are linking together with. Social justice is socially minded thoughts that come together to create something for the greater good. The energy that's created by reinventing you and your life is going to have a positive implication in the world around you, whether it be in the inner world of your immediate family or the greater world of the community at large in which you live. And that is the beginning of the thoughts of the Reinvented Life, how the Reinvented Life principles, which are so simple, were derived from the concept that, again, social justice is such a prevalent concept today, but it starts with personal justice, how just we are treating ourselves. And the 5 principles in the Reinvented Life are the same each and every time, no matter what the circumstance is that you are working towards creating in your life. Because the word reinvent, or the reinvented, at the core, the root of that word is invent. And invent is all based on creating. And so it is the very essence that these principles, the first principle are our thoughts, are our actions. And those move into that second principle of habits. We create habits in our lives, which then become routine. And for the most part, those habits, those routines serve us very well. They move into lifestyles, and those lifestyles move into that 5th principle of an embeddedness, a wovenness, if you will, of who we are. As I mentioned, most times those habits serve us very well. There are things in our days that we don't have to think a lot about. Brushing our teeth, getting up, where we're going, those are oftentimes habits. But there are many habits that we discover along the way that haven't served us well. And so it is these 5 principles when you break down anything in your life that you want to shift. Again, I was morbidly obese. My life was at risk. So a habit that I had to look at were those things that surrounded my own health and wellness. But these principles are about anything. When someone is looking at creating a new social group, when someone is thinking about a new vocation or a new job, or if they're an entrepreneur, what they want to create, or someone is looking at it, a more mindful routine, a wellness routine, a relationship, anything in someone's life that they're looking at, they can go back to the beginning first principle and think about the actions and the thoughts that they are putting in their life, which again become those habits, become those routines, become those lifestyles. And the first part of the Reinvented Life is to think about staying in motion. And so the hummingbird, and I put this on the back of the book, represents joy, hope, love, and life itself. Hummingbirds are known for their perpetual motion. They can hover and they can fly forward. They also are the only known bird that can fly backward. And so as in life, even if you fall backwards momentarily, this book is a guide for helping you to stay in motion. And the point of motion is how often in life are we just going through those motions? We may not even be moving forward. We may not even be moving backwards, but we're just kind of hovering. We're just staying the same. We're in the same place. When you look at the thoughts and actions and what you do in your life, even with the moving forward with those, and you make a decision, set an intention to move forward, there are often times that even doing that, other pieces of your life may feel like it's falling backward. Or you get started in something and it falls backward. The beautiful thing about the hummingbird and why it has become analogous to everything we do, that staying in motion, you are still moving. And I think that's the important part to think about because it keeps us thinking positive, not critically about what we're doing. If we decide we want to make a shift on something in our life, what we're doing, our circles that we're surrounded with, the activities we're involved in, if they are not relevant any longer in our lives, we have the ability to literally fly forward by going through each and every single one of those principles. So we can become stronger by those intentions. We can become stronger by the decisions that we make, sometimes on an hourly basis, of how are we spending our time and what are we doing to be that strongest that we can. The biggest contribution that we can make comes from first being the strongest for ourselves. So the analogy of the hummingbird is so important that people want to make changes. How often have we had discussion with friends and family that one thing happened that led to another, that led to another, that led to another, and all of a sudden we just found ourselves at a certain place in life. Is that really relevant for where we want to go? Is it relevant for the times that we are in? Amongst all the devastation, amongst all the hardship, amongst all of the health concerns and the loss that so many people have experienced over these last 5 to 6 months, there are also many instances where there is time for celebrations. There is time for celebrations when we look at what is being created right in the here and now. People have been isolated. People have been in their homes to prevent the spreading of what's been going on. But at the same time, many people have had more opportunities to discover for themselves what is the possibility for their own lives. Is what they've been doing out of routine, going to an office, going to workplace, going to into a routine each and every day just for the sake of doing it, they've had a chance to reevaluate. And that has been cause for celebration for a lot of people because they have recognized that their life isn't relevant anymore. And literally 6 months ago or so, the entire world, with a snap of their finger, went through a reset. And there's been very difficult times for people. There's been very challenging times for people. But there has also been this incredible resurgence of that creativity that I was talking about. People inventing new, exciting things in their life based on what they got to do, things that they wanted to do, that they were fortunate to do versus what they had to do. And I know amongst the many, many challenges that have been out there for people and new ones that have come up as school is now embarking again, there has been a resurgence of thought. And just the thought of people being conscious about what they're doing and people having the ability to not just go through their day, but what they get to do, and that is create. I have seen so many instances of people that had passion in the arts, people had passion in music, people taking the opportunities to develop lessons that they could share with neighbors, that they could share with children, that they could share with people across the country, all virtually, and really start to celebrate who they are as individuals. People taking this time to redesign their business plans, people taking this time to reinvent the strategies for their life. And so as we go through these 5 principles with our lives, whatever platform one wants to apply them to, when you think about the habits, the routines, and the lifestyles that are developed, the beautiful piece in this is that we are not stuck. And when it really comes down to it, if we have a fixed way of thinking, a fixed way of being, if we're stuck in one place, the beauty of this is that we can make those shifts. The body is amazing. If we're talking about physical changes in our body, it reacts to better nutrition. It reacts to putting our bodies in motion. We put our bodies in motion for 20 minutes, a half hour a day. It is amazing what that does for your thoughts. People are recognizing that it's connected. Our thoughts are connected with what and how we are treating ourselves. So that personal justice is so glorious that we have the ability, if we haven't treated our bodies as well, if we've allowed ourselves, as I have, to get into these states that have been so overwhelmingly devastating for myself, yet I was able to turn that around, and I'm still on a continued journey to turn that around. And what I love is I'm able to apply that to other areas of my life as well. If it's community involvement, if it's the type of work you're doing, if you've been an employee but you've had this incredible idea and you've wanted an opportunity to get out on your own and use that entrepreneurial energy that has just been inside you, this is a time that you can do that. And what this has done is it has opened up an entire platform for people. Has been such an equalizer for people that online, the world is literally at your fingertips. And if you use it in a positive way, if you use your personal justice to strengthen just yet one more person, you have allowed yourself to give, and you have allowed others to have the opportunity to receive. And we all have gifts to give, but it is actually in the receiving of those gifts that true transformation takes place. And so I'm going to end tonight with talking about the piece of the book that I call Changing the Lens. Because oftentimes, to make ourselves feel good about things in life, we look at our lives through rose-colored glasses. We've all been there at some point, myself included. It's a useful survival mechanism, actually, not to mention a denial mechanism. How wonderful to pretend that everything is perfect and that everything is okay. It makes it easier for all of us to avoid the reality of the challenges we experience as we maneuver our lives. But changing the lens is sometimes all it takes to be able to move your life forward. To go from that hovering, that flying sideways, maybe backwards, into life forward motion. It's as simple as changing your perspective. It's about taking off the rose-colored glasses and getting very real with your life. So I'm going to end tonight with leaving people with that thought. To get real, to deal with the uncomfortable, to ask yourself those questions of what do you need to do to bring more joy to your life, to be more mindful with your life, to be more authentic with who you really are. because it's that authenticity that leads to all strength, physical strength, emotional strength, spiritual strength, mental strength. It's all tied together. So as we wrap up tonight, I'm going to remind everyone to take inventory of your life. What in your life is relevant? What is helping you to reach those goals and move forward? And what is not? And what during this time can we shed? Physically, emotionally, spiritually, to be more of our authentic self, more of who we are, and the gifts that we all have to give. Because to receive those gifts is an offer that we have for humanity. I am so appreciative to be on tonight. Thank you for having me as your guest, Stephanie, and all that Empower Hour is up to, and all the reinventing that I'm watching the organization go through to serve so many, literally now, people around the world. I can't thank you enough for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. You're amazing. Thank you. That was something I know I sure needed to hear, and I'm sure other ladies did too. We actually had a really big, a good amount of responses on Facebook Live. And one of the questions that was asked by Pamela Lacey, she's asking where she can purchase the book.
Yes. So people could go to Amazon and get the book, The Reinvented Life, right on Amazon. It's in the ebook Kindle version form or in the actual book form. They can also go to _the_reinventedlife.com. They can also go mobile today, because I know a lot of people on their phones. They can go to reinvent.mobipop.info. They can go to the website. They can go to the mobile platform. Send me a note. Let me know how you enjoyed this. Ask questions. I love to connect with people. I love the spirit of what people are bringing forward. If there are any other questions, I'd be happy to take them. But the reinventedlife.com or Amazon. Thank you so much. It would be an honor for someone to get the book and really use it. I've put blank pages, just so everyone knows, in the back of the book, so that people can actually record and jot some notes down about their own reinvention and making their own life hum. So I think it'll be a nice tool for people. Any other questions coming through?
Let me double check that, but I do know that quite a few people have jumped on. They said, thank you so much for speaking today. A lot of other people are just so happy that you're speaking today. So it looks like that is all the questions that I see on the Facebook Live. There is one question I have for you though. So you're one of our authors of the Empowered Women of Empower Hour, and we're super excited that you're choosing to be one of the authors with this story. And I'm just curious, so this book potentially is coming out very, very soon here. We'll be definitely putting out the link as soon as that becomes available. And we're super excited. But Miss Chanel, I'm curious, what is the thing that makes you super excited about this book? Like, I know you were very excited about it.
I'm very excited about it. There are 14 of the most incredible stories that 14 different individuals have taken the time to explore within themselves the importance of sharing their story. And that's what excites me so much. If we can, as a group, as individuals, encourage people to share their stories, it helps people to feel inspired that their own stories are valuable, that people can really learn the lessons, can learn the history, can grow in compassion for other people. Because unless the stories are told, the true authentic selves aren't brought forward. And so that's what excites me. 14 different individual chapters, Empowered Women of Empower Hour. And it's what it's all about. It's empowering people through stories. So I am so excited to get this out into the world.
Me too, for sure. Well, thank you so much again for speaking today. This was a subject we all needed to hear about, and we always appreciate, and we are just so happy that you're part of our group. And we will talk to you, I'm sure, very soon. And we thank you again. All right?
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good evening, everyone. And just remember, all things are possible when you embrace change.
I love it. All right. Bye-bye, guys. Have a good night. Okay. Stop recording. Shoot.